yeah, we had a
So
we took care of
which building is that, at the bottom of the hill?
No, it was at the one. Okay, the barn is at the bottom, and the art studio was up at the top, and then there was a cabins, and the cabins were. I mean, I went there and I was cleaning. I have like a, I don't know. I felt like I was sent there to uncover and to clean. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And
That's
whenever I went
amazing.
to the art studio, well, I mean, it's, I always like I look for the truth in all situations and circumstances.
Yes,
And so it's
that's the
like,
purpose of life, is finding the truth.
yeah, definitely.
How was
But
your experience there at New Vrindavan? Was it a positive experience, or I mean,
oh
Krishna?
no, it was not. I left a few times, and I mean, I've seen the bad parts of ESCON. Um, it's like
You understand that when we refer to ISKCON, we refer to Srila Prabhupada as a pure devotee. What they did with his movement is not really
yeah,
ISKCON, right?
it's like what's going on right now. That's what I
Yes,
mean.
yes.
Like that. And so I was kind of like I lived on the fringe, and I associated with a lot of the older devotees that were uh, direct associates of
Could
Prabhupada.
we ask
And that's why
what
even with
years?
Malati, one time I drove her to Columbus for her to do a presentation there in Columbus at the temple.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm kind of like I stay to myself quite a bit, and so I do a lot of observing and listening. And that's where it's like I know Prabhupada, I know that he is pure, and so it's like I compare things to that purity.
oh, excellent.
And that's where it's like I have a lot to work
Came to
towards.
the right place at the right time.
That's where I have a lot to work towards. I mean, it's like I have a lot of coverings, and I'm aware of them. It was like when I first went to West Virginia, I thought that I was, you know, I wasn't aware of all the coverings.
What year did you come?
Let's see. I was there. I get all mixed up with years. Okay, 2016.
Oh, that's when you first got there?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it was like later. Now the art studio, they tore it down. But yeah, I knew people that were affected directly from the like molestation and everything that happened in the area. I see, I just started like mowing and cleaning and, you know, just like cleaning up space and everything. And I didn't know why they wanted to keep it so covered where the temple used to be. And
you mean up on the top of the hill?
Yeah, well, at the top of the hill, yeah, I cleaned all that. I would mow. I would
The original like 1840s cabin.
Yes. And then where the stabbing happened and where he didn't die and you know, that area, I spent a lot of time by myself in those areas.
Probably good.
Chanting and that's where it's like yeah, because it was like by myself, but I wasn't by myself because I had Prabhupada there guiding me, because I was either with him or, you know, it's like I was imagining, I would see the videos and everything.
Can you hear?
And I would imagine it happening right then. I was able to discover the blueberry orchard, and it was over covered with poison ivy and everything, and we got that cleared out and everything. A lot of stuff happened and a lot of things have changed since I've left. I went back to visit and I was like, wow, You can't even tell it was the same place.
Really?
Yeah. Even with the palace, they've put so much trying to make the palace, trying to make it where it's not falling in. Because they've done a
Trying
lot
to
of
what?
it's falling in, and so they've had a leaky roof for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. It's
And
funny. My son just came back from New Vrindavan because he was contracted to examine the ceiling to see how to fix it.
yeah, that's where they've done a lot of like, yeah, and that's where it's like I was with Prachetas, and so it's like Prachetas would always like tell me about, you know, what Prabhupada's vision was and everything, and I got to walk in the older areas where they, you know, they were going to expand the community out. I don't know. It's like I got trapped in the area for a little bit because I wanted to make what I thought Prabhupada's vision was a reality.
Oh,
But it was so covered. It was just like just like, yeah.
you had any friends there who were your well-wishers and people who helped you there, or were you just all out
No,
on
it's
your
like
own?
Malati. It's like Jai Shri. I'm good friends with Jai Shri whenever I went back and everything like that. Um, that's I worked at the palace for a
Oh,
bit.
was Banabhata Prabhu there at that time?
Who was it?
Banabhata?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
probably not. Okay. Oh, well, so you personally know Malati, huh? You
Oh
keep
yeah.
in contact with her?
Um, whenever I'm in the area,
Oh,
I see her, and
oh,
that's
okay.
been. I mean, it's been about a year.
Okay.
When I
Uh,
stopped in.
she used to come to Sacramento. Her mother used to live here, so she always came here to see her mother. And
Yeah,
whenever she came, one time,
I met her
Malati,
mother. I've met
huh?
her mother. I've met her mother.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Acha. Yeah. One time Shamasundar was here too. Shamasundar Malati, they both gave had a program with the local devotees here. So that was unique.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
welcome.
I'm in New Mexico now. I came to New Mexico about, let's see, I've been here for probably 3-4 years.
Oh,
This is
Really?
where I'm originally from. This is where my family, my Jehovah's Witness family, they're here.
okay.
And
Well,
so
there. Nice.
it's a very interesting setup that I have right now. But it's getting better, more
Yeah.
accepting. It
Very
was a
nice.
while for it to happen, but it's more accepting now of the different ideas
You mean more
that I have.
accepting? Your family is more accepting of Krishna consciousness in New Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, at first, yeah, it was at first they were totally against it. I mean, whenever I would come, they were like, "You can't bring any of your idols into our house," and yeah, so it's kind of changed, and so it's
Little do they know.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. So, which books have you read? The Gita, and do you listen to Prabhupada's lectures or things like that? I know you attend the Zoom programs,
Yeah,
all the time.
and then I listened to Mahatma Das from Florida. I've listened to him for a time too. Um, I've read, I've, I've read most of Prabhupada's books. I, whenever we first got the stimulus check and everything, I got like the Murdanga set, to distribute for book distribution, and I
Oh, you
actually
mean
did get. Yeah, they
Brihatmananda?
call it the Murdanga. I don't know. It's like the big set to distribute.
Yes.
And it's like I have been in places where I had access to the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I have it actually digital on one of my pads. And the thing with me, I was in a car accident in '91, and I had a head injury, and
Oh
so
no.
it's like my memory. It's like sometimes whenever I read it, it's like reading it fresh. I know I've read it, but it's like the
Oh,
ideas and
you
everything are
you
all
you
there.
got in an accident after you were a devotee.
No, 1991. This is like way before.
Yes.
I mean, this is what got my family actually. My car accident, um, whenever I was in the hospital, my brother started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses because um, he was actually like the trouble. And see, it's kind of like a weird situation because, okay, it's my half brother. We have different dads. He's older than me, and
Okay.
his dad was a devotee.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, do you know his name?
Well, David Tucker, he was in Missouri, Branson,
I know,
Missouri
but
area.
do you know his
No, I
spiritual name?
don't. I don't, but he has children and everything. I know that his father was into real estate, and they had like a cabin and everything. Um, Three Bears cabins in Missouri, like and motels and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I just remember like growing up and everything that my mom would always speak about how Chris's dad, how they spoke down about, he gave all of his money into the temple,
Oh yeah.
but he didn't take care of his son. And so it was kind of like, it's really awkward that I ended up meeting devotees because of life situations put me that way. I don't know. It's really interesting though. It's how, Krishna, how his how he could play and everything like that and arrange things to happen certain ways.
Well,
But
yes.
yeah,
You
it's
see, we
beautiful.
have our karma where we have to act according to our nature. And if we do, once Krishna consciousness is involved, once Krishna is involved, he modifies the events that occur to us.
Yes.
He modifies things. So even if we're not fully Krishna conscious, he changes things around so that we can have opportunities to benefit in areas where we would never have had a chance to benefit before.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Excellent. Yes.
Thank you.
So, Lakshmi, what do you like about the program? I mean, I'm sure you have attended many programs online because they have like tons and tons. What made you join this one or this meeting?
Well, because I want something that's forward moving, looking to actually keep it going. Just because it was a roadblock doesn't mean that a new program or that other than what Prabhupada set up, it's like that is what should go forward.
Oh wow! So you're sharing the same understanding that
Yeah,
Prabhupada
and
created
then
ISKCON.
his books being changed, all that
Hmm.
different stuff. That is like it's kind of like what has happened with even my family's religion. I see all the different changes and everything that's happened.
Well, that's
Even
human nature, People people want to change things to make it more understandable to themselves rather than studying to make themselves more like the teaching. I
yeah,
mean, if
that's
you really want to understand Prabhupada, you can't just look at him, can't just consider that he is your advisor, but you have to look and surrender to him. And when you surrender to him, he reveals his mind to you to the degree that you have surrendered.
yeah,
Right.
You will, if you want to
Correct.
be, if you want to be enlightened, there's my advice. If you want enlightenment, and everybody runs around the world, where's enlightenment? I want to be enlightened. Give me enlightenment. But if you want to be enlightened, surrender to Prabhupada. and hear him from the inside out. And when you hear him, you're hearing Krishna Loka coming through his mouth.
Jai.
And this is something that people have a hard time dealing with, because most people come to a guru, I want to be with my guru. I want my guru to teach me stuff, and that'll be good. And then when I grow up, I'll go up and be a guru myself and all that thing. Now, that's not a practical thing. The real thing is to surrender to the spiritual master and stay surrendered without. Yeah, Mohit, I don't know if I owe you an apology or not. I was pretty intense the last meeting.
Not at all, bro.
But
Not at all. Never.
I hope you understand that I meant no offense to anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Essentially,
Yeah.
I was just distinguishing that Prabhupada is an Acharya, surrender to him. He will do, what does it say? He can impart the knowledge to you because he has seen the truth.
Exactly.
That's a
Yeah.
quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the process of surrender to the pure devotee. If you look at the pure devotee only as a teacher, then you're putting yourself in a dangerous position, because you get
Exactly.
a teacher to get something that you can use for yourself, not that you're going to surrender and fulfill the vision of your teacher, meaning spiritual master.
Yeah, in a teacher environment, the student does not serve the teacher. It's just a one-way exchange. The teacher teaches and the student takes away. He does not serve the teacher. In the Bhagavad Gita,
In
so
reality, go ahead, say.
in reality, the service attitude must be there too. So you can't really do that to the so-called teacher.
Yeah. If you look at a teacher on a level playing field, the word teacher, the person who teaches, he is actually serving the student.
Yes.
Not that the student is serving the teacher.
Yeah.
Why would the student serve the teacher? If you have a nice teacher and you bring him tea or a sandwich or a piece of cake, they're going to think, oh, he's trying to kiss up to the teacher to get a better grade, right?
Yeah.
But when you're dealing this with a spiritual master, if you bring up samosas, a piece of cake,
That's the same. Yeah.
that's considered to be exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Devotion song. Yeah.
So that's why I sort of put my foot in the sand or drew a line in the sand. Teacher, that's fine. Oh, is Prabhupada a teacher? Of course, whoever learns from him can call him a teacher. But then walk off and look through the door secretly. What are they going to do with that knowledge that they get? That's the point, right? What will they do with that knowledge? Oh, now that I've learned from my teacher, let me go become a teacher. But are you qualified? Oh, yeah, I sat through all of his classes. That's the mentality what you have in a school, in a university.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing. Acharya, I would like to see Acharya standing alone as a category simply because Prabhupada is unique. There's no other Acharya. Where is another Acharya? Where's another pure devotee?
Yeah.
Whoever is Acharya on earth is speaking Krishna through his mouth.
Haribol, Jai. Jai.
And Prabhupada did more of that than his spiritual master did, because his spiritual master was not trying to deliver people per se. He was trying to get them out of the way so Prabhupada would not be obstructed in preaching. So he talked in a very complicated language, which attracted the mental speculators like crazy. And he got hundreds and hundreds of them following him. And as a result, they went nowhere. They didn't open up their own ashrams. They didn't know what to do. They tried to inherit the Gaudiya Math. They tried to take over the temples. They didn't have any consequence. After a few of them set up camp afterwards, but not very seriously. So this is what Prabhupada was Bhaktisiddhanta was trying to prevent, was obstacles for Prabhupada's preaching. And he succeeded admirably. Okay?
Okay.
So that means that Bhaktisiddhanta pretended to be a teacher, but he was actually an Acharya. He was the Uttamadhikari of the highest order, but he pretended to be a teacher. so that those people would flock to him. Back in 1969, 70, I was reading Bhaktisiddhanta's books, and I thought, this is strange. Why is it that Prabhupada's books are so easy to understand that even a 12-year-old can understand what he's saying easily? It's so clear. It's so completely clear. It's not, put it this way, can you understand it? I would say it cannot be misunderstood. Just read it and accept it. That's all you need to do. It's just like food. If somebody puts a bowl of porridge with cream and strawberries in front of you, you don't need to have a whole education in what to do. You eat it. If you don't eat it, then you've missed the whole point of the porridge. So that's what I was thinking. Go ahead, Mohit.
Bro, there's one more thing for the Prabhupada books. If you're reading them clearly and thoughtfully, if you're reading one sentence clearly, if you hear his lectures, you'll automatically get attracted. If you're a bit of humble, 1% of humbleness can bring you close to Prabhupada's lectures a bit more far. Yeah, that's what my experience is. Yeah.
Well, of course, with Prabhupada, one thing leads to the other.
Haribo, Jai.
Whenever he makes a statement or a paragraph or even a sentence, that will lead to the next level if you see it as leading to the next level. If we simply want to memorize a bunch of stuff so we can quote it and impress our own students, that is cheating.
See, and that's where with the memorization and everything like that, I mean, it's like I hold on to the idea and the thought and the teaching that is being spoken. It's like the memorization and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's not a question of memorizing. It's a question
that's
of,
where it's like whenever I need it,
I got the conclusion and live it.
Back up. Yeah, that's what living it. And then whenever I need it in conversation.
You need it.
Like,
you do need it. We
I
all
know
need it.
It comes to me. And that's where it's kind of like, I mean, I understand like Holy Spirit flowing through kind of thing.
Can hear the, oh, you're doing something else. Shouldn't turn up to the things where you can hear broadcasting. I don't know how to do it. No, I don't want to. Okay, good. Okay, very good. I'm sorry. I was just talking to my son.
Lakshmi, we have a question from one of our devotees in Florida. His name is Mahatma Das, Mario Pineda. He asked a question. You mentioned Mahatma Das. Which Mahatma Das? Is that the so-called appointed ISKCON guru guy?
Oh no,
Yeah,
I think he's a. Go ahead.
He does classes usually online, and he does public speaking and everything.
Oh.
And
but what is his philosophy?
He actually goes to Mexico quite a bit, and he does a lot of classes with Russia. It's
okay.
A lot of like translations in Russian.
I see. You're talking about that appointed elected guru, Mahatma Das.
Oh, Mahatma, no, I think he's a Ritvik.
No, not that Mahatma, the other one.
Mario Pineda?
No, not him.
Oh, well, who are we talking about?
So there's another so-called appointed guru. So
that's officially
officiated
one. Yeah.
I don't know if he's an appointed guru. I don't think he
is. He's a ISKCON guru.
Yeah. Right now, all these guys are popping out of the woodwork. Within the last few years, and then they say they're senior to me. So okay, you're senior to me. Let's enter into a debate. The conference.
That's where I did notice. I did notice that with one of his talks that he was speaking about. I guess it is the different direction things have gone. Prabhupada had the simple living.
Is that the Mahatma, the sort of bald-headed?
Yes.
Yeah, that's him. Yes.
He used to be married to. He married a whole bunch of different women, and he was basically around Arizona and places like that. Denver.
No, he
Arizona?
actually was in New Vrindavan. He was in New Vrindavan. Like,
Did he have sort of reddish hair, or probably not white hair? But
no, he doesn't have any hair. He's like really thin. He has a really like thin, like long nose.
well, and he's gotten
His
older
face
with
is
time,
kind
of
of
course.
long. He has a very long face too.
Very long face.
Yeah, his face is long, and then it's like his nose is.
Yeah, so that's the appointed guru. I'll pull up his picture here so you can exactly know who it is.
Yeah, I think he's a Mahatma. He used to be in Los Angeles for a while, though.
Could be. I'm not
I
sure
don't
his
know.
history.
Yeah, I just
he-
listened to the YouTube
yeah.
talks that he has done.
Here, hold on one second. It's this guy, right? You see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's him right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My God, he looks like.
Okay, so that's him. We confirmed. So
Yes.
okay, that's good that I mean, it's best to stick with Srila Prabhupada, you know. That's the conclusion of the Shastras, the Acharya, pure devotee. So
Yeah.
uh,
Wow.
as you go deeper and deeper into Krishna consciousness, that will become more clear. But if we take these guys as Mahatma as authority, then, you know, there's always will be a question in your life, what's going on? Just like you've probably noticed that in your life,
Yeah.
you listen to Srila Prabhupada, everything is very clear. But when you
Yes.
listen to these
Yeah.
guys, they mix things up and, you know, it becomes confusing. I've noticed that here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, it's the minute that you don't, the minute that a person doesn't surrender to Prabhupada as the Acharya, meaning inside of his consciousness coming from Krishna Loka, then they're going to have clashes no matter where they go, and no matter how devoted they claim to be or how much they may really worship Prabhupada, it'll be no more than a person in a religion worshiping the minister of the religion or something. They don't see Prabhupada for who he is.
Jai. Bro, I want to add what Lakshmi Mataji just said it 15 minutes back when she told that I was going through my work and Krishna. I mean, something happened and then I got joined to Krishna consciousness. That I've heard from various devotees all over the world. This happens like this is an opportunity which Krishna has given. Now it's in our hands how we take our Krishna consciousness forward, right?
Hi.
This is what I felt. This happens, right? This is Krishna's mercy on us, and then we can take it forward, right? Now
Yeah.
we have to be back on track for spiritual life. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Jai Prabhupada. Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I'm at, because I'm looking for someone. I mean, I have Prabhupada and everything like that, but someone that is living now that does Prabhupada's teachings in order for me to associate with, because I know how valuable association is. And I'm kind of like a individual now that I don't associate with most people, even my family members here in the house, because of
That's because of higher consciousness, right, bro? That's
what is
because of
that?
higher consciousness. Yeah. You've read Prabhupada books now clearly. You know whom to associate with, and that comes with maturity in Krishna consciousness. Exactly.
Jai. That's very,
Yeah.
very important what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So essentially, not having a lot of associates may make you feel lonely, but it also protects you from being dragged into all sorts of opinions that are not exactly Prabhupada.
Yes,
Exactly. Very well.
I
Yeah.
do that.
Prabhupada himself is the source.
Yeah.
And if we go to the source, like if there's an artesian well and it's flowing over, and it goes down in streams, and the streams become affected by the vegetation they go through. They become affected by the minerals that they get in contact. So you drink water from the stream, and you say, oh, there's the water. But if you come up to the well itself, bubbling out of the ground, taste that water is pure.
Yeah.
So you're doing that. You're learning, you studied Prabhupada's books, you're learning directly from Prabhupada. You're doing the best that can be done.
Jai.
Haribol, Jai. So it's
have-
like, bro, now we are at that stage where, I mean, we can't reciprocate outside with anyone in material world, because we have read so much and we have got so much of knowledge that it's impossible for us to go outside. There's no taste in the material world. So that's
Right.
like heaven. That's like heaven for spiritual guys or spiritual people. But yeah, it's a bit of pain also. But yeah, you need to do that. Loneliness, that's very important. Yeah, that I've been through for around 5 years now. So yeah.
If you want to challenge ideas and be challenged, have your ideas challenged, you've come to the right place. This is an istagosti. Everyone here is a jiva. We can correspond to each other directly as best we can, trying to put aside our perception of our body and our mind. So when we are talking to one another, we should try to see, I'm speaking to pure spirit soul. And when you're speaking in istagosti with Prabhupada present, then you will catch what his mood is for us to develop our purity in Krishna consciousness.
We have some questions online now. Let me go over to that screen 1 second here. Lakshmi Prabhu, thank you very much for joining and
thank
sharing
you.
your experiences. Feel free to ask any questions. We'll put you in the group. You can contact Narayan Prabhu, myself. All the devotees here are available to help you in any way possible. So, and anyone else who's listening, they can also participate. So the question here is, there's this devotee named Rob B. He, I sent him some original books, Prabhupada's Gita, and he asked the question, how do we maintain happiness in Krishna consciousness? Rupa Manjari, do you want to answer? How do we maintain happiness in Krishna consciousness?
Just taking shelter of the holy name and reading Prabhupada's books, which are giving us the truth about life. And that truth is where happiness exists.
Jai.
Jai. Haribol.
Jai, devotee here, Abhimanyu Prabhu suggested how to maintain happiness in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada exactly talks about that in the 7th mantra in the Ishopanishad, which I can read here. Where is it, Prabhu? 1 second.
Okay, is this paragraph?
Okay, 1 second here.
This paragraph.
Ramachandra, why not include Abhimanyu on the Zoom call?
Oh, hold on, he wants me to read something, so let me read it here. This is from Srila Prabhupada's Ishopanishad. It's in 1969, right? Oh, okay.
It's the same.
Okay, so Prabhupada writes, the results of our activities must be used to serve the interests of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest can we receive the Atma bhuta interest mentioned herein. The Atma bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahma bhuta interest mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1854, are one and the same. Is this the part?
What paragraph?
A whole paragraph, okay. Let's see. The Supreme Atma or soul is the Lord himself, and the minute Atma is the living entity. The Supreme Atma or Paramatma alone maintains all the individual minute beings, for the Supreme Lord wants to derive pleasure out of their affection. The Father extends himself through his children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure. If the children are obedient to the father's will, family affairs will run smoothly with one's interest and a pleasing atmosphere. The same situation is transcendently arranged in the absolute family of the Parabrahman, the Supreme Spirit. Okay. Let me read the last paragraph. The Parabrahman is as much a person as the individual entities. Neither the Lord nor the living entities are impersonal. Such transcendental personalities are full of transcendental bliss, knowledge, and eternal life. This is the real position of spiritual existence. And as one as one is fully cognizant of his transcendental position, he at once surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. But such a Mahatma, great soul, is very rarely seen, because such transcendental realization is achieved only after many births.
Okay, it's about family.
Yeah.
If you want to maintain happiness, then you need to make happy your father.
Yes. So Abhimanyu Prabhu is saying, if you want to maintain happiness, you should make happy your father. And who's the father?
Krishna.
Krishna.
Well, yes, that's the idea, because in the Vedic culture, the father is considered to be Vishnu in the family, and the wife considers her husband to be Vishnu, and the children consider the mother to be their goddess, and then they recognize that the father is given such respect. I have seen extremely wealthy people sitting at a table. Their 15-year-old son will come walking through the door, and he will bow down and touch the feet of his father. That's in a multimillionaire's home that I was in India. He came and touched the feet of his father. That means that he recognizes that his father is supposed to be, or is acting as, Vishnu, even though he's not Vishnu. He's not on the point of realizing Vishnu. Nonetheless, for the society to go ahead, the child should see his father as Vishnu. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, from what I gathered from the quote, if the jiva is meant to serve Krishna. Why? Because the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna. If the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, then what is he doing in a material body? Well, and why does he get a chance to do all these things that he feels he wants to do in his material body? And the answer to that is because Lord Paramatma is guiding his every desire, not guiding his desire. The jiva has desire misplaced into a body, human or animal or fish or any maggot body. Is the jiva is identifying with his body and its bodily needs. Paramatma is facilitating this from inside his heart. So Paramatma is the personality that accompanies the jiva in the material world. Nowhere else. Paramatma does not exist in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, everyone is in his direct vasa with Krishna. There's no need for desire fulfillment on the material level. But Krishna is so merciful that when the jiva wants to leave the spiritual kingdom of Krishna Loka and come to planet Earth, to our society, to Sacramento, or to wherever he comes, when the jiva comes down like that, he needs guidance. What does he need guidance for? Well, without Paramatma, he wouldn't know what to eat. He wouldn't know how to reproduce. He wouldn't know how to drink water. He wouldn't know how to get clothes. Everything he needs is suggested, provided, or directed by Lord Paramatma. So when Lord Paramatma is present, the jiva is taking constant guidance. But when the person, the individual jiva, the same jiva, wants to become a devotee of the Lord, he gives up the idea that Paramatma is going to satisfy his material desires. He withdraws that sense and he begs Paramatma, what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta boat and he cried to Paramatma, please make me dance, make me dance, make me dance like a puppet on a string. So by saying make me dance like a puppet on the string, it goes to opposite of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because in the Bhagavad Gita it's described that the Lord and the heart, Paramatma, and the jiva are side by side. And it's described that the jiva is the active, they're two birds, and that the jiva is the active bird, jumping all around and squawking and wanting things. And the Paramatma is the silent bird that sits there, facilitating. But Prabhupada said, let's change the role. You become the active bird, please Paramatma, please Krishna, and I will be the passive bird. I will ruffle my feathers. I will sit quietly. You, please, speak through my body as though I am a puppet on a string. Use my mouth. Use my body. I'm yours. Guide me. How much guidance? Every word, every thought, every feeling. Please guide me. And how guide? Because I want to, Prabhupada says, I want to fulfill Krishna's desire, his desire. But how will I deal with these different individuals? Well, Lord Paramatma is there. Please, Lord Paramatma, you dance. You make me dance. Make me move my hands and my mouth and my head. And everyone will think, oh, look at the Swami. He's showing his hands. He's showing his face. He's smiling. Well, actually, it's Lord Paramatma working through Prabhupada who is making that happen. Lord Paramatma is being the guiding principle of Srila Prabhupada's activity because he's generating every word that Prabhupada speaks. But then what you can say, well, what about Prabhupada's relationship with Krishna? Well, Krishna is channeling down to Prabhupada to be the pure devotee, to be the Uttama Adhikari, to be to be the authoritative spiritual master. That Krishna is doing. But once Prabhupada is here, and Paramatma is in his heart, as he is in the heart of all of us, Prabhupada said, you make me dance. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be Abhay Charan. I'm not going to be a retired pharmaceutical person. I'm not going to be a family man. I'm not going to be the parent of children. I'm going to be whatever you say. Whatever I open my mouth in the class full of devotees, ISKCON devotees, I open my mouth and you speak, please, Krishna. Speak through my mouth. And that way they will not be misled by anything. You see? So Prabhupada as the Acharya is non-different than Krishna because the Acharya only speaks and only thinks what he is guided by Krishna to say and do. But in the process of the Acharya, there is also Paramatma, and Paramatma takes care of all the daily things that need to be accomplished by the Paramatma, by the spiritual master. Is that okay? Is there any question, or hopefully, is there any disagreement? Immediately mention it. Hello?
No, we're here.
Okay, does anyone does anyone agree? Who disagrees? Who has a different view? Who wants to quote more Shastra? Go right ahead, but did you understand what I said?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhupada
Yes.
has the guidance.
Yes, Prabhu.
And
Very well, yeah.
does anyone disagree?
Not at all, Prabhu. That's what Prabhupada has preached. Prabhupada says it exactly what you said, bro. So yeah.
Thank you. And Mohit, what do you think?
It's superb, bro. You're just quoting what Prabhupada said and you're just repeating those words. That's like transcendental bliss for us, for everyone, right? Since I've
No,
joined. Yeah,
I just, what he says. But how
exactly.
to understand it, we may need a little bit of other information to go with it so that we see who he is. Not that I am the authority of Prabhupada, I'm not at all. But I am his servant, and if his words, if everyone wants to understand his words, well, now you understand who is the Acharya. He's more than a mere teacher. I mean, but the student can anybody sitting in the class of an ISKCON temple in the old days, listening to Prabhupada speaking, could very well, they all saw him as a pure devotee, Uttamadhikari. But if they wanted to see him as their teacher, nothing to stop them, except that they're missing out on the main part, the main point. And that is, as a teacher, which he taught, therefore, if whoever teaches is a teacher. So he taught from Prabhupada's books, from his books that he wrote. And then there's more to it than that. As a teacher, he must be seen as the Acharya, meaning that he's speaking from pure realization, not from having gone to school and learned how to teach. Okay, but anyhow, we're looking now at the GBC, ISKCON gurus, all these different things. People who saw Prabhupada no more than a teacher. They can say Acharya, but what do they mean? All they mean is the person that made me a guru. Or the person that,
we have a question on that line. 1 second, let me project it.
Go ahead. I don't want to do all the talking. I want them to do the listening.
Okay, 1 second. Hare Krishna. Okay. There's this question about guru. So what's going on here?
Hey.
Okay, here we go. We have this question from Rob B. He's asking a question here. I'm highlighted. Rob B asks, is Bhaktivica Swami a bona fide guru? I listened to his talks and I'm looking to join ISKCON, or should I just follow Prabhupada and that will take me back to Godhead, back home? Please let me know.
Okay, well, you're more familiar with Bhaktivica than I am. Why don't you answer the question? I've met Bhaktivica
because you found his book
several times. He's gotten he used to be very edgy, but he's becoming more mellow with time. But I don't know him personally for the last few years. So why don't you speak, Ramesh?
Abhimanyu Prabhu said definitely no, because he found some books. Vishwakarma found some books about what
in his house. And he showed me.
Okay. Vishwakarma
about guru there.
Okay. So Abhimanyu Prabhu is saying at Vishwakarma's house there is a book by Bhaktivica Swami, and he showed him what he speaks about guru. And what did he say?
That's a total nonsense there.
He said it's total nonsense what he's saying.
At least, for example,
nonsense. But can you get more specific?
Yes.
For example, he's saying that if guru falling down, it's the fault of his disciples.
Oh, he said if the gurus fall down, it is the fault of the disciples in Bhaktivica Swami's book.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually good. It's actually true.
How is it true?
The bogus guru like Bhaktivica takes on disciples, and because of the disciples' heavy karma being given to him during the process of jagya, fire jagya, to make them into devotees, the guru becomes loaded down with the sins of the disciple and falls down. He left out that part.
Okay, and you.
But you get the distinction. If Bhaktivica Swami says the fall down of the guru is because of the disciple, but you have to say, wait a minute, what's the mechanism? Well, the mechanism is that the guru is taking on the karma of the disciple. How many sins, how many women, how many homosexual relations, how many drugs taken, how much meat eaten, and he accepts all that karma.
Yes. So Abhimanyu Prabhu said, Bhaktivica Swami falling down. First of all, how can a guru, Diksha guru, fall down if he's not on the highest level of understanding and realization?
He is on the Brahma bhuta, how he can fix on Brahma bhuta, how he can fall down.
Yes, Abhimanyu Prabhu is saying it's Bhaktivica Swami acting like a guru and saying that if the guru falls down, it's the fault of the disciple. The so-called guru
That's
is
the proof. That's the absolute proof that the guru is not an Uttamadhikari.
yes.
Not on Brahma bhuta.
No, not even Brahma
Because
Bhuta.
if you reach Brahma bhuta and fix there, you should, you never
Well,
fall
we're
down.
dealing Brahma Bhuta, but the thing is, we're dealing with Kanista Madhyam Uttamadhikari. In the 5th verse of the Upanishadamrita, Prabhupada says
You fix on
the Kanista, Abhimanyu, the Kanista Adhikari, the Madhyam Adhikari, and the Uttamadhikari can all accept disciples. But if you take from the Kanista Adhikari, you cannot go further than him because he's on the same level as you are. And Madhyam Adhikari, I don't know where you're going to find one in ISKCON. None of the gurus are Madhyam Adhikaris. And then the Uttam, so Prabhupada says, therefore, accept an Uttamadhikari as your guru. And there are no Uttamadhikaris. Therefore, my humble request is, or my hint, my suggestion is, accept Prabhupada as the Uttamadhikari, because we all know that Prabhupada is the Uttamadhikari. So why are they fooling around in this sort of like a bunch
Well, he
of
gives a
children
workaround for that.
playing in a sewage of a tank of sewage? Why are they doing that?
No, like in his book, he also explains an argument for this. He says that the Diksha Guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur was not an Uttamadhikari, but he is still accepted as a matter of a ritual to accept a spiritual master to get you into the parampara.
In ritual, we can do anything and say anything, So we were not talking about rituals here. We're talking about what Prabhupada is exactly
Okay, no,
clearly
what
saying.
did Mohit say though? He
No,
said something
it
about
was
Bhakti
Vinayak.
Thakur's guru?
Yes, Vinayak.
Vinayak Prabhu. Vinayak Prabhu.
Which guru?
Yeah.
You mean
Uh,
Jagannath Das Babaji?
No. There was one more, like a Diksha Guru who kept his feet on the head of Bhakti Vinod Thakur and was criticized by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. That one.
Well, I don't know about that, but all I can say is that Thakur Bhakti Vinod started out as a relativist, teaching Shastra as a relativist. And he wrote a whole bunch of papers and had a huge following of devotees as relativizing the Shastra. This was when he was young. And who got caught up in that? That was the American, Thoreau, Emerson, Hawthorne, people like that, Americans. They were reading his Gitas. They were reading his teachings. But then he said, I then came across, don't get confused when I say this, Sridhar Swami. And Sridhar Swami, whose works I've not looked at, convinced him that the spiritual master must be an Uttamadhikari. And from that point onward, he was going with the idea that the spiritual master must be an Uttamadhikari. So I don't know where this thing about putting the feet on the head, it may have been when he got initiated into the earlier cult.
Yeah, it was Bipin Bihari Goswami. He was a caste Goswami, like from the first time he took initiation, it was from Bipin Bihari Goswami. And
Okay.
yeah, he
how
was
early in his life was it?
it was in 1877 to 1878. And I don't know how early it was, but might be because in those times, like Vaishnava or Brahmin families used to have these system of initiations for everyone. So he
Yes.
took that from Vipin Bihari Goswami.
Well, but the point is that if he took that initiation and he wasn't bona fide, then that would explain why he went out and was preaching unbona fide understanding of Shastra, which was then transferred over to America. Even he had a Gita that he published that was put into the Toronto library, school, University of Toronto library, perhaps. And because of that, he then renounced that guru, renounced that whole practice, and took up from Sridhar Swami, which I imagine he got from possibly from Jagannath Das Babaji.
Yeah, so generally, like, point being said, like, from the history point of view, whether it is, but it is not confirmed that Vipin Bihari Goswami was not a pure devotee who
We
gave
don't
the
know.
first initiation of.
We don't know. But all we
Yeah.
do know
But
is
Bhakti
that when we
Vikas
help,
Swami, yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, but Bhakti Vikas Swami gives this example that just for the matter of fact of getting initiated, Bhakti Vinod Thakur also took initiation from Vipin Bihari Goswami. And as
Okay,
per,
but go ahead.
yeah, as per Bhakti Vikas Swami, like Vipin Bihari Goswami, the initiating guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, was not a pure devotee because he put his feet on the head of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and he justifies that, like, there are no Uttamadhikaris in ISKCON, but you
Who
can
says?
take a lower platform guru. Bhakti
Who is
Vikas
saying
Swami
this?
says this.
So he is saying that Thakur Bhaktivinoda is not a pure devotee?
No, Vipin Bihari Goswami, the person from whom he took initiative.
Yeah, but Bhakti Vikas should understand that if he goes into an ISKCON temple, he will see Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaurkishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and Prabhupada on the altar, not the Vipin Bihari.
Yeah.
They're not on the altar. He's not recognized by Prabhupada.
Now they are also placing their photos on the altars.
I'm sorry?
They are also placing their own photos on the altars now.
Well, that is like taking having a beautiful display of gold and putting dog poo next to it. You can do it. Why not? You can take the dog poo and put it next to the gold. Who's going to stop you?
Now I cannot have any darshan of an ISKCON altar without laughing.
Yeah. So our job is to keep the gold gold, to keep the line of the Slavic succession pure, all pure devotees. Okay, where are we going? Hello?
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai.
Don't we have some reading for today?
Is Ramachandra there or who's there?
Ramchandra Prabhu is there. Hari Bol, Ronald Prabhu. We have something to read today. Hari Bol.
Okay, Rupa, you're in charge, I think. Why not do something, say something?
I guess Prabhu, Vinayak Prabhu has something to make a. Vinayak Prabhu, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, generally, like, the arguments that Bhakti Vikas Swami puts is like one more argument he puts that there is no evidence that Prabhupada said that about posthumous initiations. And in our ISKCON also, like, we have this, like, Prabhupada is our founder Acharya, and he is our Shiksha Guru, but for the matter of initiations, we have to take shelter of some of his disciples. So this
Okay,
kind
so
of
where does he get the authority to do that? Prabhupada said the initiating guru must be an Uttamadhikari. Is he claiming Bhakti Vikas? Are they claiming to be Uttamadhikaris?
Yeah, for that argument also, like, there are two definitions of Uttama, Madhyama, and Kanishta. One in Srimad Bhagavatam and one is Nectar of Devotion. So
And
one
also the nectar of instruction.
yeah. So in Nectar of Instructions, like Srimad Bhagavatam's definition is given, but in Srila Prabhupada's books, there are two definitions. So
Okay,
from
what are
Chaitanya
they?
Charitamrita, the distinction is made on the basis of faith. So generally, the
Basis
Kanishta
of what?
Adhikari, on the basis of faith, Shraddha.
Faith.
Yeah,
Faith. Shraddha. Shraddha?
yeah, Shraddha. So on the basis of like Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is like a Komal Shraddha. Very fragile faith is of class of Kanishta Adhikari, and somewhat better faith in Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari has very strong faith which cannot be fallen down. And so they give
Where,
this,
where, where exactly is that stated?
that's in they say that that's in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Nectar of Devotion.
Yeah, but I hope you notice that Prabhupada doesn't make these distinctions very clear for anybody for the simple reason, in my opinion, now that's my opinion, reading like the Nectar of Instruction, I say, he's certainly talking around in circles a bit here, talking about the Uttama Kanista Madhyama Adhikari. He's making very few direct statements. I said, why? But over the years, seeing what happened in ISKCON, I said he didn't want to give ammunition to the ISKCON people to get even more bogus than they were.
Yeah, so like people are taking the definitions which suits them. So for example, they usually say that if we go through the Bhagavatam's definition, that a Madhyamadhikari must, like, if we go through the Bhagavatam, like generally they give this logic that we are distributing books, we are preaching, we are getting new devotees to Krishna consciousness. So basically we all are Madhyamadhikaris. And if we go through the definition of Srimad Bhagavatam, then nobody can preach. So there is a contradiction in that way. So because Prabhupada in many lectures said that the Madhyamadhikari is one who starts preaching. And so they take that definition from
Yeah, but
different
that is very
sources.
vague. You know, you have attended our classes when I gave a very clear, what Prabhupada told me personally, a very clear distinction. Kanista Adhikari, when he gets to the top of Kanista Adhikari, which could take many lifetimes, he comes to Madhyama Adhikari. At that point, the same Paramatma that is helping him enjoy his senses in his body, even as a Kanista Adhikari, begins to take him up to the next stage, which is how to develop Krishna Prema. And the Madhyama Adhikari comes up to the point of Krishna Prema. He's not an ordinary thing. And also, I have never met a Madhyama Adhikari in this country yet. What, I mean, he would not be able to communicate with anyone, really.
We have some comments also. So if anyone can discuss and give me some time, if I can read, please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I
Vinayak
conclude before
Prabhu, go
that?
ahead, Vinayak Prabhu. Can you finish it up then, or you can ask later?
Yeah, I'm just finishing it up. So
Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, so basically, like in a broad sense, like when Prabhupada teaches in the lectures, so it is like the Madhyamadhikari is one who starts preaching, and the Kanishta is one who is a neophyte devotee who does not know how to treat other devotees and who is interested in deity worship. So basically, the devotees who are in like Krishna consciousness, bringing new people to Krishna consciousness, distributing books, giving lectures, what is their position as per that definition?
Well, Ramachandra, what is?
So what is the position of a devotee like myself, bringing people to Krishna consciousness and like that? The lowest of the low person who has, read Prabhupada's books and, trying to help others. What, I mean, I don't know. Why
we are all Kanista Adhikari, because our realization is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. Whoever says Aham Brahmasmi, he is a Kanista Adhikari. And how do you know that a Kanista Adhikari? He follows the four regular principles, he studies Prabhupada's books, he practices Sankirtan and Kirtan like that. on whenever they can. And that's the Kinasatagari. The Kinasatagari is very broad. You could take dozens of lifetimes to complete Kinasatagari, because you have to go from wandering in off the street, throwing your drugs into the gutter as you come into the temple and shaving your head, up to becoming a pujari of the deities in such a way that the deity and you have tears in their eyes because of the wonderfulness of the way you're worshiping. From that position onward, then the Madhyamadikari stage sets in. So we don't have Madhyamadikaris. Who would be a Madhyamadikari? Madhyamadikari is a person who is almost on the verge of reaching his rasa with Krishna.
Yeah, and like in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada also said that first and second stage devotees never fall down. So basically, like Uttama and Madhyama devotees never fall down.
Yeah. So if any of these gurus are Madhyamadikari, then they're falling down. How they can be Madhyamadikari? The Madhyamadikari doesn't fall down because Kanesa Adhikari means Brahman. Brahman realization is not the impersonal Brahman, but Chinta Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously one and different with Brahman or Krishna. And what does that Kanesa Adhikari mean? It means he is understanding, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. That is Kanesa Adhikari. And as long as he maintains all of the principles, he can make advancement birth after birth. It might take 20 or 30 births to come beyond Kanesa Adhikari to Madhyamadikari. So once you reach the Madhyamadikari and you are under the protection of Vishnu, meaning Paramatma, if you stay under his protection, you're not going to fall down. And if you stay under his protection, you're not going to be stupidly taking on disciples either. So why would you take on disciples when you're a disciple yourself? You have to take on disciples, you have to go through. So it starts with Brahman realization, then Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, the three levels of realization. So the Paramatma realization is Vishnu. He comes under the protection of Paramatma and makes progress up to the point of transforming his materialistic worship of Vishnu style worship of Krishna in the deity, in the temple, where the deity may have had tears in his eyes and the pujari had tears in his eyes and he was shaking with ecstasy. That is all in the mood of Vishnu, who is not in Krishna Loka. Okay, so then, leaving that behind, he has to relinquish the cloak that he's wearing of the material identity in the material world, and he gradually sheds his cloak of material cloak and takes on gradually the ability to transparently relate to Krishna, offering to Krishna devotional service in such a way that Krishna is pleased. Now, how will you ever know if Krishna is pleased or not? Remember who's guiding you. It's Paramatma is guiding you from inside your heart. So Paramatma is guiding you how to please Krishna. And if you're Madhyamadikari, you're trying like anything to renounce your Kanisa Adhikari attachments so that you can then, in ecstasy, in pleasure, accept the higher standard of pleasing Krishna directly in Krishna Loka. And I assure you that if you're making Krishna weep in arti on earth in the mood of Vishnu, if you try that as a Kanisa Adhikari to please Krishna in Krishna Loka, simply put, he will not like it. Why? He's not Vishnu. Why should you treat Krishna and Krishna Loka like Vishnu? He's Krishna. So you have to completely renounce this devotion for Vishnu through the deity in the Kanisa Adhikari platform, come up through the Madhyamadikari platform to the point where Paramatma is guiding your every motion. Do this, don't do this, do this, just the same Paramatma is telling, oh, have a beer, have a piece of meat. because that's what you want. Oh, Paramatma is saying, get a car. Paramatma is saying, get married to that woman. The same Paramatma that was guiding us since we were saying, like a maggot, I'm a maggot. Now, what do I eat? Paramatma said, here's something dead to eat, a dead corpse. Now you eat that. Same Paramatma is now saying to you, don't do what you did as a great pujari for Lord Krishna in the temple. Now you must renounce that. And as you renounce it, you will be able to offer to Krishna things that Krishna likes in Krishna Loka. And that's not so easy. Bit by bit, but bit by bit, through the curtain of Maya is still there. Or the Kanisa Adhikari, but Madhyam Adhikari is doing this in the dark of like a coconut inside a coconut shell, Prabhupada says. And so as he's in this coconut inside the coconut shell, he cannot see Krishna. Can Paramatma see Krishna? Why not? He is Krishna. So, but the thing is that he is guiding the jiva how to please Krishna in Krishna Loka as opposed to how to please Krishna in the form of Vishnu in the temple of Kanisa. I hope that's straight. So I don't want to dwell on it anymore. So then the Madhyamādhikari takes the Kanisa up until the Kanisa is offering in such a way, under the guidance of Paramatma, of course, under the guidance of Paramatma, make me dance like a puppet on a string. Exactly. Please guide me to how to, like, if I'm fanning Krishna, how can I fan him to please him? When I start out, if I'm fanning Krishna the way I fan the deity in the temple in the mood of Vishnu, Krishna will not like it. Why? Not because it's not beautiful, but it's because he's not Vishnu. He's Krishna. So you give this worship, this fanning to Krishna in Krishna Loka differently and under the guidance of Paramatma, Vishnu. And as you do, Krishna says, oh, it started out badly, but now it's not so bad. In fact, it's not so bad. It's actually becoming sort of nice. It's becoming so nice. I hope he doesn't stop. And you're doing this and you don't stop. Or if you do stop, Krishna yearns that you will begin again. That's Krishna Prema. But it's not the end of it. It's the very beginning. So then as you're worshiping Krishna and fanning him, let's say, with your fan, and pleasing him via Paramatma's intense, minute guidance to every motion you take and every thought you have and every feeling that you have, when Paramatma has guided you to that degree, then Krishna says, I like the way I'm being fanned. I will reciprocate with my appreciation to this Madhyamādhikari in the darkness of the coconut shell. I will reciprocate to some degree. And as you please Krishna, then Krishna becomes inclined to please you. That's rasa, the beginning, the root beginning, the tiny, tiny beginning of rasa. So then, when you come to the point of pleasing Krishna 100%, and Krishna practically embraces you with his every thought and feeling, Krishna is with all sorts of devotees, but this form of Krishna is with you. It's unique. So he's with you and you're with him. It's not like you go to Krishna Loka and then you look at him off in the distance dancing with gopis. Not at all. This is how you get a rasa with Krishna. I mean, when that occurs, the rasa develops. When the rasa is perfected and Krishna's 100% satisfied, and you're in ecstasy with your offering to Krishna, then Prabhupada said, and he went like this, then the curtain of Maya rolls up. You can see Krishna face to face. And he says, you come under curtain of Maya rolls up. You come under the protection of Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is the force, the person that guides all the pastimes in Krishna Loka. Just like we have Maya here, keeping this man is married to this woman, so this Maya keeps him from being married to somebody else. That's Maya because somebody else is married to that woman, like that. That's Mahamaya. In this Maya, Krishna is there for you and you're there for Krishna. When the curtain of Maya rolls up, you can see Krishna face to face. Come under under the protection of Yoga Maya. What is Yoga Maya? Yoga Maya is the Maya that makes your rasa with Krishna distinct from anybody else's. And considering there are unlimited hundreds of millions and billions and quadrillions of devotees in Krishna Loka, being uniquely connected to Krishna is the only way you can be in Krishna Loka. You cannot come to Krishna Loka as a tourist. You have to come to Krishna Loka in your rasa with Krishna. That Krishna, the Krishna that you will please. So anyhow, when that takes place, he said you come under the Krishna of Yoga Maya, under the protection of Yoga, and you can see Krishna face to face. When that happens, there is no more Maya. The curtain of Maya rolls up. The darkness, the coconut shell is gone. You're no longer a Madhya Madhikari. You're no longer a Kanisa Adhikari worshiping with tears in your eyes in front of the deity on the altar. You're no longer a Madhya Madhikari renouncing those things to be able to serve Krishna directly. You're now an Uttama Adhikari in your rasa with Krishna. And whatever your rasa with Krishna, I may get that you're fanning Krishna, maybe that's what you always do. I'm just saying that as an example because it's easy to understand. But your rasa with Krishna could be much more complicated than that. I'm not going to get into those possible complications because I don't know what they are. Just look at Mother Yasoda and Krishna. You can see that's a very complicated relationship. But it's the same as you and Krishna by fanning him. Direct rasa with Krishna. Mother Yasoda has a direct rasa with Krishna. Okay, so when that takes place, when that rasa with Krishna takes place, you are then situated as an Uttamadhikari, like Prabhupada. And if Krishna wants you to come down to planet Earth to associate with Lord Chaitanya and to bring people to the holy name and facilitate Lord Chaitanya's sound vibration of the holy name coming into every town and village and into every eardrum, then you will do it. Even if they disrespect you, even if people look at you, you're this descended being on earth from Krishna Loka, even if they think you're a teacher and not an Acharya. Oh, he's my teacher. I'll learn and then I become like him. No, if he's your teacher, of course he's your teacher. But what sort of teaching? By example. So what is his example? Krishna Loka. What I described in Krishna Loka, the rasa with Krishna, that is what he can teach you. Your rasa with Krishna. That's why don't cheapen it. Don't make it a cheap thing. Oh, my guru, oh, my guru, oh, my teacher, oh, my teacher. Not
Okay. So I'd like to read some comments now from our devotees online.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. Did I take too long or I just completed it?
Ronald, bro, we have nothing to read today. Any writings which Prabhupada has read?
No. We have some reading from our devotees online. So let me read it.
Go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, if you got it, it's complete.
Okay, here Bhanu Prabhu is saying, Hare Krishna Narayan Prabhu, I'd like to ask for forgiveness for having offended you. I did a aparad. I'm sorry for that. Hope
Who's
you
saying that?
forgive me. That's Bhanu Prabhu.
Bhanu, you called me in the morning. I was so tired I couldn't understand what you were saying, and you had a bit of an accent too. But I was so pleased to hear your voice. I practically was weeping with joy to hear your voice. It was so beautiful and so powerful. And then you called Ramachandra also. I'm very satisfied. Thank you, Bhanu. Nothing to forgive because I have not taken offense.
Okay, there's some devotees. We got Aristo Prabhu. Aristo saying, my obeisances to all Prabhus in the attendance and a hearty Hare Krishna to our beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Manu Prabhu saying all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And there's some more comments. Remember me, I'm
Manu Prabhu again.
Yeah, I'm Sorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
I talked about ISKCON. No, he says I talked about ISKM. I get more information about ISKM. It was established by a person, His Grace Sundar Gopal Prabhu. He claimed that he was initiated by Prabhupada. Okay. Then he makes another statement here. He make rule that Prabhupada only Diksha and Shiksha Guru for the next 10,000 years, and they're collecting more devotees and bringing them under the umbrella of Prabhupada. They just listen. Prabhupada talks, sings original books. Okay,
Oh, then let them come to our Zoom call also.
try. Okay,
No, there are complaints about that group. Like
okay.
they,
What is that? Please tell us.
yeah. So
Yeah,
usually there are complaints that they are distributing edited books, and their leader is getting his feet washed in different places.
He what?
Getting his feet washed.
Well, why?
Yeah.
I
So
mean, if he's 90 years old, that might be a nice thing to do. But if he can reach his own feet, he should wash his own feet.
Very well.
And if he's pretending to be a guru, he should worship his own feet. But he should not get other people to worship his feet.
and yeah, and also like they are selling edited books. So that's also one more point
Well, why are they selling edited books?
that I don't know.
Well, can they get original ones?
I don't know. Everybody can get original ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Those who want original books, they will get. Prabhupada, Krishna will guide them automatically, bro. If you're sincere. Yeah. So
So I think Arista is a person of extraordinary intellect, capacity, literary background. He understands Greek classical plays by Aristophanes. So I would say that Arista, you have the intelligence. Check him out. If people are washing his feet, particularly if they're putting the water in their head or drinking the water, then he's not the real McCoy. If he says
Yeah, like
Prabhupada is only
Yashodanandan
Acharya,
Prabhu says.
then why is he letting people wash his feet? He should be washing Prabhupada's feet.
Jai.
Where's the
Jai,
question?
Prabhupada.
Now,
Yeah.
why wouldn't he worship Prabhupada's feet? Why is his feet being worshipped?
Vinayak, what were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, like this was I got this information from Yashodanandan Prabhu, so it might be
Okay,
very
well, you have to be careful about Yasodanandan. He's not the most. Oh, are you in communication with Yasoda?
not as such,
I'm sorry.
and not in a serious communication.
I mean, do you speak with him or you read what he writes?
Oh yeah, I also read what he writes.
Okay, but I will tell you that Yasoda is not 100% honest guy. I know him going back. I knew him very well even before 1970. So I know him backward and forward. And I was closely associated with him when I thought that he was 100% for Prabhupada. But then it turned out he had other schemes and he wanted to open his own centers because he said ISKCON deities are dead and they no longer, or they're no longer Krishna. And so he opened his own centers, which had a lot of problems. At least two of them I'm aware of, where the problems in his temples, his Hare Krishna centers, isn't that what he called them, Rupa?
Hare Krishna Society.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Society. That of the Hare Krishna Society temples, there were so many problems that were just as bad, if not worse, than the ones in the ISKCON temples. Rupa, you had a lot of contact in that area, didn't you?
I had
Okay.
some.
Do you have any recollection?
You pretty much covered it.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not accurate about the books being changed.
No, it doesn't mean he's not accurate about the feet being washed. The only thing is, if he said it, question it and get another point of view. In other words, if his feet are being washed, Yasoda is probably not the only person aware of that, right? And it's also the context of washing the feet. If he's very senior, if a man walks into a house, even an ordinary man walks into the house, you wash his feet. So I mean, it could be in that mood. How do we know? But if he's sitting on a chair and they wash his feet, then that is very suspicious.
Yeah, like generally in India also, like in traditional, like not nowadays, but maybe 50 to 100 years ago, like this was the system that the Brahmins, they used to get their feet washed, and either
Exactly.
the Brahmins, they like not necessarily that they are all devotees or kind of getting some serious realizations, but as a matter of custom or a matter of respect also, like they were getting their feet washed. So,
Exactly. So for Arista, is Arista online, do you think, listening?
I don't
So
think it's Arista you're addressing. It's Sorav Sahu.
Oh, well, what happened with Arista? I thought he was the one whose question it was.
I could be wrong.
Ask Ramachandra.
He stepped out.
Okay. So
There, he's there. Haribol is there.
Whoever
Prabhu
is
is there.
if somebody is there, check out why his feet are being washed. And if it's Arista wanting to know, I'm sure Arista is listening online if that's the case, or will be later on, then check it out. If his feet are being washed, consider what context it may be, out of respect or out of worship. Out of respect is very edgy, because if somebody came to me and washed my feet, I would not be pleased, even if I'm giving him the supreme absolute truth. Because we must reserve that for the Acharya, not for his servant of the servant of his servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Acharya, but only for the Acharya.
Exactly, Prabhu. I want to make a point here. I've seen various gurus, ISKCON gurus, personally in the temple getting their feet getting washed. They're pleased like they are a pure devotee. That's like, I mean, Vinayak Prabhu's question or answer is correct, right? That it was a
Yes.
tradition, but Prabhupada never wanted this. Prabhupada never told them to wash his feet. They did it out of love because they could feel the
Yeah.
aura, they could feel Prabhupada's
Well, he's the
touch with
Acharya.
Krishna. Exactly.
He's not just a guy. He's not a guy that went to a school teacher and learned how to be a guru from the teacher. He's a person, Prabhupada is the Acharya, who is deriving his every word, thought, and feeling directly from Krishna, with Paramatma
Exactly.
mixed in as well.
So that was done out of love,
Paramatma is
Prabhu,
Krishna.
by devotees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Prabhu, that was done out of love by devotees, right? They could feel that Krishna was
And
guiding Prabhupada.
recognition,
Yeah. But now it has been a
acknowledgement.
tradition, Prabhu. Prabhu, now
Yes.
it has been a tradition in ISKCON. Everyone wants to get their washed feet. They want fame, they want money, and everything is like totally
Well,
upside down. Yeah.
that
This has
means they
happened.
did not see Prabhupada as the Acharya, or they'd be worshiping him instead of being worshipped.
It's indirectly
people-
offending
Whoever is
Prabhupada.
a disciple of Prabhupada will worship Prabhupada right now. Not that
Exactly.
he wants to sit separately and be worshipped himself.
So
That
it's
means
like
he saw
indirectly they're
Prabhupada
offending.
only as an enabler, as a person that made it possible for him to sit on a fastest side.
Prabhu, I wanted to clear this out.
Cheating
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah, Prabhu. So I wanted to clear this out to all the devotees there, those who are
Yes.
listening to us. It's a clear offense to Prabhupada if you are washing feet of other gurus. You're offending your own guru. So that's a big offense which we guys are doing, and it should not be done. Specifically in the ISKCON temples. Not me, but yeah, in the ISKCON temples, whatever is happening is very bad. You are lowering Prabhupada's position from being the pure devotee, from being the Acharya of the moment, and then you're coming in between. You can't come
No.
like that. I mean, it's impossible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mohit, that is brilliant analysis. Clean, clear,
Thank you very
brilliant analysis. Yes, thank you.
Very good.
Your
Sure.
realization is jumping ahead 1,000 times a minute. I'm very pleased.
Thank you very much, bro. All your blessings, all your Ishtagoshti lessons.
Your
all
blessing is
was
there.
Krishna's mercy.
And
Yeah.
if you ever meet me, don't you dare try to wash my feet.
Of course, bro. Yeah.
But all these new gurus, they can wash their feet. Why not? They can use gasoline, kerosene, motor oil. Why not?
Yeah.
And then they can drink the motor oil too. Why not? Or put it on their
Yeah.
head. I'm just
So
kidding.
yeah, bro. So it's a compulsory thing in ISKCON. If you've taken Diksha from these gurus, they like in a month or every 2 months, they like sit on the guru is sitting on the Vyasasana and everything. What was done towards Prabhupada, they do like that. So I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, but what Prabhupada arranged before the so-called Ritvik word came into play, because Ritvik did not appear in any of Prabhupada's writing. It's in the Sanskrit, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, and all the different text scriptures. It's in the Sanskrit, but Prabhupada in the verse and in the purport never once used the term Ritvik. That was imported in July 9th by Tamal, who was in the last stages of poisoning Prabhupada as he created the word Ritvik. And he got the word Ritvik from someone named Narayan Maharaj, who had mentioned it in his biography of Prabhupada, which in itself is a ridiculous offense against Prabhupada.
Okay. This is a new thing, bro. Can
you
you just
know?
repeat this again? Narayan
What?
Prabhu, what was it? Narayan Maharaj was a
No,
god brother.
no. That's me. No, Narayan Maharaj.
So Narayan Maharaj was a
Okay.
god brother of Prabhupada, right?
No, not at all. Prabhupada at one stage went to live in the ashram of his godbrother named Keshava Maharaj.
Acha, okay.
And Keshava, he was just staying there as a guest, sheltered by
Right.
Keshava Maharaj.
Acha.
Keshava Maharaj had a disciple, quote unquote disciple, called Narayan Maharaj, who was
Acha.
basically a rascal from the beginning, based on his self-description in his biography of Prabhupada, describing
Acha.
the days that Prabhupada was there. So Narayan Maharaj is a god nephew, but he said that Prabhupada, claimed to be superior to Prabhupada, Narayan Maharaj. And now Prabhupada is 27 years older than Narayan Maharaj. And Narayan Maharaj considered himself, even an ordinary businessman will not think like this, but in India. But he's considered that he's superior to Prabhupada. Why? Because he was the Ritvik, that his choice of words, Narayan Maharaj's choice of words, that performed these sannyas ceremony for Prabhupada under the direction. He was the Ritvik for Keshava Maharaj. He did the fire sacrifice, and he said that since sannyas is more important than Diksha, that since he took sannyas 7 years before Prabhupada, that he was actually Prabhupada's senior. How much more rascal can you get?
Prabhu. I mean, no.
And then he considered Prabhupada was his equal because he used to sit on the same seat as Prabhupada. So Prabhupada considered him to be equal. How can he be? He's his godbrother's disciple. How can he be equal to Prabhupada? That's almost like saying he's equal to his own guru. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He went on to say he was basically equal with his own guru because he could do whatever he liked with his guru and his guru wouldn't object. And then he went on to work with Tamal to poison Prabhupada. And that's why the word Ritvik came up. It was in the biography that Narayan Maharaj wrote. Oh, do you want to know the weirdness of the biography? The title of the biography. Do you want to hear? It is by Shiksha Guru Priya Bandhu.
Okay.
Now, Shiksha Guru means guru, right? You accept him as guru.
Right. Yeah.
Priya Bandhu. What does Priya Bandhu mean? You know?
We have someone spiritually very close.
No, Priya Bandhu means my best friend.
Acha. Okay.
So when he said Shiksha Guru Priyabandhu, he is going against the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna said, now that I'm your guru, friendly talks have to cease, right? Now's the time for friendly talks to cease. I will be your Krishna stopped being Nara Narayan. That's my spiritual name. Nara Nara means Arjuna. Narayan means Vishnu. Okay, so Krishna and Acharya stopped being Nara Narayan, brotherly, and said, "Now I'm master, your student." They did that for the purpose of writing the Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata, and Veda Vyas describe it as for Stri, Sudra, Dvijabandhu. Stri means ladies, Sudra means working class, and Dvijabandhu means unqualified people of the Dvija class, meaning Brahmins and Kshatriyas and some Vaishyas like that. If they're not qualified, so that means it's for lesser intelligent people. Now our top scholars cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita. But back when it was written, it was for the women and the Shudras and whatnot. So I'm a less than Shudra, so I'm still trying to understand it. So anyhow, that's the idea. So when he said Priyabandhu, Shiksha Guru Priyabandhu, he's saying my guru and my best friend. That is against the teaching of the Gita. That was clearly Arjuna said, and Krishna said to Arjuna, you cannot be guru and friend at the same time. So it shows you how weak Narayan Maharaj was. And I could go on and on about Narayan Maharaj, but let's go back to good topics.
Sure.
So Mohit, what were you saying? And did you get the distinction there, Mohit?
Yes, Prabhu. So I got the distinction what you were trying to tell, that what Narayan Maharaj has his position and what he thinks of him. I mean, Prabhu, I'm not that much qualified to talk about him, but yeah, taking the points which you've said. Yeah.
Well, it's not take much qualification, because if you've read the earlier verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, now is the time for friendly talks to cease. Right?
Exactly.
Priyabandhu, you're my Priyabandhu, but Priyabandhu has to stop because now I'm going to be your guru. And actually, he became his Shiksha Guru, actually. So the very same thing that Krishna said you cannot do, that Narayan Maharaj wanted to do. Now, I went to Narayan Maharaj while he was still alive and ripped him to shreds, verbally, not physically. And people said, how can you dare talk to him? He's so senior to you. I said, well, the way he spoke about Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was 27 years older than Narayan Maharaj. So Narayan Maharaj is 27 years older than me. Why can't I do what he did? Oh, they got it. Everybody got it. All Narayan Maharaj disciples, most of them were Gurukuli kids that I knew from birth, basically. They were laughing and enjoying themselves by everything I said, not realizing that Narayan Maharaj was sweating bullets.
Got it, bro. Yeah.
Okay, enough self-glorification. I was just defending the name Narayan from Narayan. Or defending the name Narayan from Narayan.
Yeah. Ronald, bro, we have something else?
Valuable discussion, but that's not what you were asking for. Go ahead.
Exactly, bro. I was asking for that discussion only about Narayan Maharaj. You've cleared it out. Yeah.
Exactly. And it was Narayan Maharaj that introduced the term, well, we've had it in his book. Kamal undoubtedly read Narayan's book, Ritvik. He got it, I'm going to use Ritvik to stop everyone from being initiated directly by Prabhupada. I mean, the Ritviks are supposedly saying you can be Prabhupada's disciple. Prabhupada said the officiating Acharyas, he's going to name them. They were initiating for Prabhupada since 1970. But Tamal said, no, it's going to start with July 9th, 1979, I guess.
77.
77. Yeah.
So,
He says it's going to
yeah.
start. No, that's why I used the word rhythmic, was to keep people from realizing that Kamal wasn't creating this initiation system. But he used to use rhythmic because nobody knew what it meant and never heard it before because it was not in any of Prabhupada's books.
So, Prabhu, if you're not getting directly initiated from Prabhupada, you can't go back to Godhead, that's for sure. So, I mean, if Tamal Maharaj has done this, that's like a big hole in the system which he has done. But yeah, if you're not getting directly initiated from Prabhupada, you can't go back to Godhead.
Exactly.
You won't have any spiritual advancement.
So,
Yeah.
so the rhythmics have made a very artificial standard of initiating, but all of them practically consider whoever they initiate as a Prabhupada disciple as their own disciple under their control.
Yeah.
Just as you
Yeah.
found out with what was the name of the guy? Rupa, what is the name of the guy?
Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I've seen him. Yeah.
Well, Gopal Krishna, yeah, he was
Yeah.
appointed guru. This Navayogendra Swami gives Ritvik initiation as well as Prabhupada as well as ISKCON initiation. But the whole term Ritvik should never have been introduced, and Tamal demanded that it be used. Because if you'd use officiating Acharya, then you could trace it back to 1970. Do you know how many people were initiated as Prabhupada disciples since 1970 as his disciples?
No,
Would you like to guess? Yes.
Of course.
Yes,
Guess
how
from
many?
around 50,000.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a great guess. I wish it were true. No, he ended up with 5,000 disciples. Probably.
5,000. Okay. All over the
So
world.
how many of the 5,000 were done by officiating Acharyas?
Sorry, come again.
Officiating
Prabhu.
Acharya means they do the fire sacrifice.
Yeah, so
Yes.
out of those 5,000, Prabhu, that's all over the world? 5,000 all over the world or just in the
Yeah,
West?
5,000 all over the world.
Acha, okay. Got it, Prabhu. Yeah.
It could have been much more if it hadn't been for the GBC. But anyhow, how many do you think the officiating Acharyas initiated without Prabhupada doing the ceremony?
There would be, Prabhu, lakhs now.
The Lakshana, you were starting with 5,000. So how many of the 5,000 that got that initiation?
After 5,000, Prabhu, the gurus which have become, I guess, in the West and in India, it's around more than lakh devotees all over the world now.
No. Now, yeah, but I'm talking about at the time when Prabhupada entered Mahasamadhi. Okay, let me just say, because I'm not making myself understood even partially, and that is not your fault, it's my fault. So the thing is, Prabhupada had 5,000 disciples when he went into Mahasamadhi. Of those 5,000 samadhis, how many did Prabhupada directly initiate with fire sacrifice over that period of time? It could not have been more than 1,000 at the most.
Acha.
So the initiating acharyas initiated over 2,000 disciples as Prabhupada disciples. Therefore,
Acha.
Tamal wanting to create the word Ritvik was not necessary. It was a disturbance because he wanted to hide the fact that thousands have been initiated already without Tamal being the Acharya. So this whole Ritvik idea was simply to distract from Prabhupada already having initiated more than several thousand by officiating acharyas that were generally temple presidents.
Acha, okay, got it, bro. So, bro,
So it's already in place. If you want to take initiation from Prabhupada, it was already going on. All you have to do is go to the temple president and say, I want to be initiated. He would write to Prabhupada, can I initiate him? Prabhupada said, go ahead. He would take initiation from the fire sacrifice in that temple without Prabhupada being present.
Acha, okay. Got it, bro.
Does that make sense now? I'm
No,
sorry, I
it
didn't
makes
mean to
sense,
lead
yeah.
you down the garden path because I was being too confusing, obviously. But you were
No.
great. You were fantastic.
Now I agree. I mean, I
wondered.
get your point too. I get your
Yeah.
point. What you're trying to say that
That's
the
why I don't
1,000
like the word,
devotees
the
were
term
like.
Ritvik.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
So the 1,000 devotees were in touch with Prabhupada. They got Diksha, and then they gave Diksha in front of the fire sacrifice, right?
He
This
did.
is how the process.
1,000 about maybe 1,000. The other 4,000 were done by officiating acharyas.
Acha, okay, got it.
So there were already the vast majority of Prabhupada's disciples were already initiated by quote unquote Ritviks, which were called officiating acharyas by Prabhupada.
Acha.
But Tamal wanted
Okay.
to change that to Ritvik. Since that time, Ritviks have been walking around like, you know, these kids, they put a sign on the back of a kid saying, kick me. The Ritviks put a sign on the back of their own back saying, kick me. There's no need. Just say officiating Acharya. Prabhupada initiated. There were thousands of initiated by Prabhupada that way. So what's your big problem? You see?
Yeah.
But no, they have to use Ritvik and get beaten up in the court of public opinion, get beaten up by the GBC, got beaten up by everybody. So that's why I don't like the word Ritvik, and we should switch it to officiating Acharya. And who can be initiated by initiating Acharya? You can. Anyone can. All you need to do is go to a person. Well, we don't have control of any ISKCON temples, but if we did, you go to the temple president or the chief pujari, say, I want to be initiated, and said, fine, they check you out. Then you produce a sacrifice. And what the secret of the fire sacrifice is, the first opening shloka, Abhovitra Bovitrava. Abhovitra Bovitrava. Whether you're purified or unpurified, the fire sacrifice will burn up your karmic reactions as you become initiated. Nice? So
Yes,
that's why
you
can initiate in behalf of Prabhupada. Abhovitra Bovitrava. But Prabhupada said, ISKCON is my body. So when you are officiating Acharya, you produce the initiation, and any karma that's left, as well as devotion to Prabhupada, goes to Prabhupada, not to some bogus guru. Is Ramachandra still there? Okay, so
I guess Rupa Manjari Mataji is there. She can just go ahead. Yeah. It's her sleeping time. There you go.
Mataji? Rupa? She's gone?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're here. Well, good. Were you paying attention?
I stepped away for a second. I'm back.
Oh, okay. And Ramachandra, where does he go to?
He also stepped away.
Okay, well, maybe he'll step back because we only have 3 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
3 by my clock. Anyhow, I think I don't know, are you going by your computer or by a wall clock?
By my computer.
Really? Mine says 57 and yours says 58?
Yours is the right one. It's 57.
Oh, okay. So anyhow, are there any more things to be read?
No, we're pretty much at the
Are
end.
you sure there's nothing that hasn't been, no comments that haven't been read?
I'll check. Hold on.
We can go over by 5 minutes to answer questions. I don't like people to think they ask and then we ignore them.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
comments?
Saurabh Sahu says, okay. Oh.
Said what? Any
Okay,
comments?
Saurabh Sahu says, okay.
Okay. What? Okay. Any
Okay,
comments?
Saurabh Sahu says, okay.
Okay.
Okay, Saurabh Sahu says, what he said about ISKM is wrong, Vinayak Prabhu. As per I know, they ISKM don't doing anything, as per my knowledge. And then he said, I know some ISKCON people have big ego against ISKM because ISKM is doing what Prabhupada wants. They call them Sahajya Apasampradaya. Whereas, per my knowledge, ISKM is the only one who is following Prabhupada as it is.
Well, then if they are following Prabhupada as he is, and we can double check as to whether or not their feet washing is going on, then we should invite them to join us on the Zoom call.
Okay.
So Prabhu, this ISKM is Bangalore, ISKCON Bangalore. Or what is it? Which one is it? Vinayak Prabhu? Haribol?
Singapore.
Acha, okay. Singapore one. Okay. Sorry.
Singapore.
So
Oh,
they have
no.
been managed by GVC, right, Prabhu?
No,
So they're all being managed by GVC, no? ISKCON Worldwide.
no, it's different.
Okay, it's time's up.
Is there anything, anybody have a last thing to say before signing off?
A burning desire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
burning
Thank you
desire.
so much for having me tonight.
Thank you
It
so
was-
much.
You
for
are
joining.
so welcome.
Hare
The only
Krishna
thing
to
that would make
everybody.
me happier
Haribol.
is if you had
Ma
said more
Haribol.
things.
All
All right,
right.
you
Go.
guys, thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys so much.
Haribol.
Thank you very
Lakshmi.
much.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
Even
Lakshmi.
my computer
It's
says
so
Haribol.
nice
it's
to
10
meet you,
o'clock.
Lakshmi.
Manjari, it's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hearing what you had to say.
And join us
Same
again
here,
and again
Lakshmi.
and again. You can see what we're up to. And we're not
And
wasting
good
anybody's
comments.
time. We're not wasting anybody's time, and we're not making foolish statements. We are trying to stay to the point and solve the problems of life via what we are hearing from the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. And
Lakshmi,
his Acharya's teaching is coming from Krishna Loka. But
Lakshmi,
that does not make him a teacher. It makes him an Acharya. And if whoever wants to see him as a teacher is going to get stuck doing all sorts of things that they may not end up wanting to do.
Lakshmi, our next meeting is on Thursday. Do you think you can come?
Yes, I can come.
That'd be great because we need more
That will
women.
be
I'm
great.
the only woman, and we need more women here.
Women
Hare
power.
Krishna.
Haribol. Women power should be there.
She's an older
Haribol.
one, and she doesn't sound very older.
Yeah,
She sounds like
how old are you, Lakshmi? I'm 39.
46.
46?
Yeah.
Oh,
Still a
nice.
that's pretty,
That's great.
Yeah.
that's
Still
pretty
young.
young.
Still a
It's pretty
baby.
young, Prabhu. Haribol.
Okay, I'm going
Very
to end
young.
the session, everybody. Thank you so much.
Hare
and
Krishna,
Okay.
thank you.
talk to you on
Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
wonderful.
Thursdays
Jai
and Sundays,
Prabhupada.
correct? Thursdays and
Thursday,
Sundays.
we
Thursdays
need
and
someone to take
Sundays
over
again.
Wednesday.
Hare
We need someone
Krishna.
to take over
Haribol.
Wednesday. Give us some thought.